Section 2.5, homework number 9, part A and B. So you don't need to do C or D. Okay, and show how to use a percent table and either going through 1% or going through 1. So what's going through 1%? That's the one we just did. So we actually want to solve for 100%, but it's not very easy to get 100 from the number 3 because you have to multiply a fraction, which we try to avoid. But what we do is we can always divide this number by itself and turn that into a 1%. And we like the number 1 because whatever you want to get, say you want to get 100 from 1, you just multiply by 100. If you want to get 80 from 1, you multiply by 80. If you want to get 79, you just multiply by 79. So that's why we call this method going through 1. Because we turn whatever percent, 3% and 29% to a 1%, and then turn that 1% to any percentage we want. So let's look at my examples. So 68, again, I changed the 690 to 68 and changed 23% to 4%. So it's very similar. 68% is 4% of what number? So from now on, most of the questions I'm going to do is using percent table because I think it's easier. So let's analyze the sentence. So again, when I say analyze, I meant figure out which one is the portion, which one is the whole. So apparently, whatever after the word of, so one number, that is our whole here. And this is the fraction, and that is the portion. Okay. All right, so this is portion, and the fraction is also represents a percentage of the portion. So these two correspond to each other. So 68 corresponds to 4%, or 4% of the whole is 68. So we put them in the first row. Now, and we're solving for the whole, which is so when I set this table up, this is what I have. Okay, 4% is 68. Now, we will solve for the whole, which is number, line up with the number 68. But I know the percentage for the whole is always 100%. So that's what I write down. And now we want to figure out what number should go in here. But what you're going to do is we're going to solve it by looking at the percentage numbers. So how do we get 100 from 4? Because they actually did want us to use going through 1%. I mean, technically there are different ways. For example, I could just do, because 4 actually goes into 100. So if I want, I just multiply 4 by 25. That gives me 100. So I should multiply 68 by 25 to get 1700. So I can get the answer in one step. But since the question asks us to use going through 1%, so we're going to add an extra step. So instead of trying to get 100% directly from 4%, we are going to first turn 4% to 1%. Again, if you want to change a number to 1, you always divide by itself. So divide by 4, divide by 4. So that gives us 17 here. So that's what I did in the second step. And now, how do you turn 1 to 100? Multiply by 100. So we're going to multiply, multiply by 100 here and 100 here. That's how we got 1700. Okay, and so that's how we use, and again, why this is called going through 1? Because we always turn whatever percent to 1% and then multiply the number we need. And example, this for 9b, what percent of 80 is 3? All right, so let's analyze the sentence here. So which is whole, which was a portion. So I see the word of right here. So of, so whatever after the word of is the whole. So 80, that's our whole. Now what percent? That's the fraction, is 3. So that means this is the portion, because a fraction of the whole is the portion. Okay, so with this information, I am going to write down. So first of all, we are given two numbers. Both are numbers, and amounts. They're not percentages. So I'm going to write down 80 and 3. So both of these are numbers. And one of these, remember 80 is the whole because it's right after the word of. And that is the percentage. The whole is always 100%. The whole means, again, one whole. One means 100%. So what we're really solving for is, so if 80 is the 100%, then 3 is what percent? So that's what we're solving for. So in this case, we're not the first 3 problems we did is always we are given 2 percentages and trying to figure out the relationship between these 2 percentages, so we can do the same operations, either division or multiplication, to figure out the number. But right here, we are given both numbers. We're trying to figure out the percentage. So again, if you try to convert 80 to 3, it's not very easy to do. So we're going to turn 80 to 1. And any number, if you want to turn that to 1, just divide by itself. So we're going to divide both of them by 80. So that gives me 80 divided by 80 is 1. And 100 divided by 80, that gives us 1.25. And so you might want to, if you have trouble doing this a little bit, you may have to do a little bit of long division, or maybe we haven't talked about this yet, because we will talk about this in chapter 6. Okay, so maybe you can, if you have trouble doing that part, you may use calculator to help you to get 1.25 here. Or you can just use a fraction. So 100 divided by 80 divided by 10. We learned how to simplify fractions in the previous section 2.3. So you got 10 over 8. And you can reduce this and divide by 2 again, find a common factor. So you get 5 over 4. So if you want to use a fraction 5 over 4, it might be okay. But decimals are a little easier. Okay, so next, if you remember that we want to get the number 3, because 3 is the number given. So let me set up the original here so you can refer to that. So 3 corresponds to what percent? So here, because again, I cannot really turn 80 to 3 very easily. So I turned 80 to 1. Now I just need to turn 1 to 3, and which is very easy to do. And whenever you have a number 1 and you want to turn the 1 to a number, you just multiply with the number. So we're going to multiply both the number and the percentage by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. That's exactly the number given. The percentage is the one we're solving for. So 1.25 times 3 gives us 3.725%, which is this is the answer. Okay, and that is the answer. So again, if you have trouble doing multiplication here, so we are going to talk about this in chapter 5. 3 times 5 is 5. 2 times 3, 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 1 times 3 is 3. So we have 3.75%.